Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open the Gates. I'm your host, Matt Burke, and tonight we're going to be having on Julius Freeman. He's going to be talking about his book, Vigilant Fury. So if you guys could give a warm welcome to Julius, that would be awesome. What up, Julius? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing fantastic, bro. How's the new year going for you, man?
It's going good. It's going good. Busy. There's a lot of things going on in the background, and looking forward to 2024. It's going to be hopefully a good year, but busy right off the bat.
Oh yeah, man. That's always good, man.
How was yours?
Oh, it's good, man. Like this Todd McFarlane dropped that new Spawn contest, art contest on.
Right. Are you gonna do that?
Oh yeah, I'm almost done. Like I was having a little, like kind of like, oh man, because I mean I'm working on multiple things right now, and basically I have like so much time kind of now, like within a month. So I was just like, do I want to do that piece or whatnot, or do I want to do a commission or I don't know, because I basically have a little bit of time per month, and I was like, yeah. And every week is a different character. So the first week is Spawn, the second week is Gunslinger Spawn, the third week is She Spawn or Scorched, and then the fourth week is the Spawn villain. And I was really
nice,
kind of hyped up to do a villain, but then it's like I like Spawn a lot too, you know what I mean? And I mean I'm gonna try to win, but I don't really expect to win, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. But I just think it'd be kind of a cool thing to participate in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get
some new eyes. Get some new eyes on your work, You
oh yeah. Know. Yeah, I never know, man. And it's just it was just really fun, man. Just like kind of going back and looking at the old Spawn stuff, and I was always like a Spawn fan, as growing up. It was weird, like picking up the comics. I could never get like the sequential, like, oh, I got issue 1, I got 2, I got 3. Like it never really worked out like that. I would kind of pick one up randomly, and it was just weird like that, depending on like allowance or whatnot. But it was like that, the Max Pit, those were, like the big books I was picking up as a kid. Oh, that was during that whole Image boom,
Oh yeah, right there, right smack in the middle.
Oh,
I came after that boom. I think it was probably 95, so a few years after. But yeah, Pitt was the one I was like, what the fuck is this? This is crazy.
Yeah. I remember seeing him fight the werewolf. I was like, okay, like there's a big old werewolf in here, and then just I thought the character looked pretty cool, like, oh, this guy looks like a metalhead or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I guess eventually they're gonna come out with the the big the big omnibus or whatnot. I wouldn't mind picking I'd like to pick that up,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they're gonna do that, because I mean, how many issues did he do?
I think he did like 30 or something like that, or like maybe 30? Less.
Okay, so yeah, it should be a thick one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still doing that new story with the Diaz brothers or Philip Diaz?
I think so, possibly, but I'm not sure. I know he's been doing some stuff, I think, with Mandy Summers, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I saw that, the Gem Shock stuff.
Yeah, I follow him on the social medias and whatnot, because his just art just fucking really dope. I like his style.
I mean, Del Keown's art's just a whole different level.
Yeah, and this
it demands a lot. I can see it demands a lot.
Yeah, I like his process too. Like whenever I can, figure that stuff out. It's always interesting, man. I don't know, but you, man, you've been pretty busy, man. You've been you got Vigilant Fury that's in demand right now. You're actually editor of the book, The Cryptidnals. That book is fucking dope, man. That was one of the best crowdfunded books that I've picked up and ever.
Man, thanks for that. Yeah,
for sure, dude.
But yeah, Ray Ramos, man, the writer of that book, has a fucking warped mind in a good way. In a good way, because yeah, holy mackerel. I mean, the things in the pipeline, the things he's told me he's thinking about, it's like, this guy is gonna this book, I don't know when it'll blow up, but it's gonna blow up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like any time like he puts out something, I like, oh dude, I gotta get it, like he does a fucking really good story, how was it, like the whole process, like like going in and editing that book, man? How was that for you?
It was a little bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, because Ray had asked me if I wanted to be the proofreader for the book originally. Okay. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be the proofreader, check it out, see, make sure there's no mistakes, glaring mistakes, so that way you don't send it out to the backers with riddled with misspellings, punctuation, grammar stuff. And so I looked through it, and I was like, oh damn, this needs some work, not a lot, but just some. Just there are a few things where I was like, ooh, wait a minute, and it was rad. It was rad that at that cusp where I wasn't, when you barely meet someone and you get to know them after a while, but you really don't know them yet until
Yeah, takes a while. Yeah.
So we're right there. We're like, we know each other for a while, but I don't know if I'm crossing the line. Should I even say anything? I wouldn't feel right if I didn't. So I just told him, hey, look, do you mind if we have a private stream so I could point out the things that you still need to work that's beyond spelling and grammatical stuff? And Ray humbled himself, was like, yeah, let's do it, let's go for it. So did it, and then that's how I became the editor of the book of the Kryptonals, because I pointed out all the stuff that there, it wasn't so much I don't want to say there were big holes, there were just little loose threads that needed a little bit more tightening,
Yeah.
And pointed them out, and then Ray of course went back to the drawing board, not to the drawing board, but he went back to the script and started tightening them up, and then off to the races we went.
And then it fucking paid off, man. And I've read that book twice, and yeah, I really liked it. And there's just been a lot of I remember a lot of process, a lot of stuff that went on in the making of that book. As far as the way they chose to do the art, they did it this way, it being in black and white, yeah, just a really cool concept. It's the whole, for me, it's like Lord of the Rings mixed with cryptids and border horror, and and for 656, those guys, for me, man, they really galvanized the border horror genre. That's what I would kind of call it. And it's just something to itself, respectfully, entirely. That with the Escape or Die, I really fucking love that book too.
Oh yeah, that was another good one. That's another great book. Yeah.
And with the Cryptindals, even Brian, he was another big fan of that book, and that's cool, man. Obviously your editing really fucking paid off, and that's awesome, man. So it's I've known you for a minute now, but I mean, for other people that don't know you, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, I started reading comics when I was 13 years old, and I was one of the only ones in my neighborhood to read comics, because I grew up in a not so good place. It was, well, for the lack of a better word, the ghetto, the ghetto full of cholos and gangsters and stuff like that. So I found the comic book shop because a cousin of mine brought over all the funny enough Spawn number one.
Oh, okay.
And because my cousin was an artist. He liked graffiti. He was a graffiti artist. So
yeah,
he brought over the issue, and of course I was 12 at the time, and I was like, what is this? This is, what is this thing? I never knew what a comic book was.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's a book. It's a comic book. And my friend let me borrow it because I liked the artwork and I wanted to study it. I wanted to study the art, the style of the artwork. And
yeah,
of course I didn't know who Tom McFarlane was at the time. So I was like, wow, the artist really, this is amazing. So, the cover, that famous first cover with the green glowing hand, the smoking, and
oh yeah,
that crazy cool cover. Yeah. So I was looking through it and I was just blown away by it. I was like, wow, this is like the newspaper funnies, but a book.
It's serious.
A book of that. Yeah, a whole book of it, Because I used to read the newspaper funnies as a kid. Those were my favorite things to read. And then yeah, after that I gave it back to him and we went on with our day. And then the year later, my dad took me and my brother and sister for back to school shopping at the mall. And sure enough, as he's pulling up, I look over and I see a whole wall of superhero posters, Spider-Man,
nice.
Superman, Batman. I'm like, oh, that must be the place where they sold those books, right? Because and also, of course, Superman is iconic, right? Batman. Yeah. So I knew Batman, I knew Superman. So I made a mental note, and then I worked on some chores, got some chore money, took the bus to the mall, walked to the comic shop, and I entered it, and that was it, man. I was hooked. Right after that. It was the smell of the ink and the books, the paper, the employees talking about, debating about who's doing what,
who would win this and who would win that.
Yeah. And the poster, the Kingdom Come poster, and seeing oh my God, this looks real. And at first I thought it was a picture. I thought it was a photo. But then when I looked closely, it's oh no, it's a painting. Oh, what is this? And And then sure enough, that's when they schooled me into, every Wednesday we get new comic books. The issues come out every month, so you have to come back every month for the next chapter, so and so. And that was it, man. I got hooked. I was hooked, and it was a secret hobby of mine because, like I said, my friends, comic books equaled geek or nerd. Right. And back in the day, I'm sure too, that was a negative thing to be back in the 90s. And so it wasn't until I turned 18 is when they finally discovered my comic book collection, because they saw my big white long boxes, and they finally was like, what is this? Yeah, what is this, dude? And I was like, at that, and I'm also 18, so I didn't care anymore. I was like, those are my comic books. And everyone, it's just like, you read comic books?
Yeah, right.
You nerd.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck, you nerd? But then they started looking through my collection, and of course they found some fucking gems. They were like, dude, this
pretty
is
cool.
Badass.
Yeah.
And then that's when they realized, wait, X-Men is a comic book?
Yeah,
it's not just a cartoon, because they all loved X-Men, right? The cartoon series,
and Spider-Man and the Batman animated series.
Yeah. But they were more X-Men because that Wolverine was their style. Wolverine was more our guy, because he was rough,
badass.
And of course, when you grew up in the ghetto, you got to be a little rough. Yeah, and he was tough and smoked cigars and just a womanizer. He always wanted Jean, and Cyclops always cockblocked him.
Yeah, right.
And so when they found out that, this is based off of comic books, and it's like, yeah, dude, everything, Superman, Batman, all these characters, and they were like, cool. And then after that was it. Now I became at that point the comic book guy to go to. So when the first Iron Man movie came out, when the preview came out, 2008, all my friends were like, hey, Julius, is Iron Man gonna be any good? Like, should we go watch it?
Like, look pretty good.
I was like, yeah, dude, you should go watch it, because at the time it was cool to see like Iron Man on the big screen, and it looked good too,
Yeah, 100%.
Especially when he's flying, the 2 jets are following him, and after that, I was like, this is gonna be so good. Hey, what's up, Timothy? And so I and then when I turned 18, that's when I decided to try to make my own comic books, because I just loved more ale. Yeah. I wish I had some ale right now. Damn.
Me too. I'm drinking some holiday nog right now.
Nice. I'm jealous. And yeah, so when I was 18, I decided I wanted to write comic books. In hindsight, I should have taken art classes so I could at least learn how to draw, because it would have been so much easier to draw the comic books I want to draw. But I decided to stick with writing. And yeah, man, ever since I was 18, I've been trying to get a footing in the industry and try to get my stuff out there and try to break into either Image or Dark Horse. Of course, Marvel and DC would be another goal of mine, but at the moment now, 2024, I think indie's king. So I'm just focused on getting my own stuff up and going. Vigilant Fury is a book that's almost done. I have the Ghetto Dragon that's going to be relaunched soon, and then I have the other one, the unnamed sci-fi project that I've been kind of teasing around the past week, and other projects too in the works that I want to just get off the ground and get people to really see just how much I do love making comic books, and that I could really write an entertaining story, because I think that's what's lacking in the mainstream, as well as some of the. I mean, there's some really good indie writers out there too, like Ray Ramos from Crypto Knowles, Timothy Olsen. That's Stein. What's I'm sorry, man, I totally butchered the. Is he the writer of Melvin?
Yeah, Melvin.
See, Melvin. Yeah. And then I mean, you draw too, right? You drew a piece for me for Vigilant Fury, which people will see. Backers will get a print of that. So just hold your horses for that one. But are you going to write your own books too, or draw your own books, or what's going on with you?
Well, actually, yeah, I've had my own book, Butch Cleaver. This one right here. I did basically I did a first graphic novel, but prior to that, it was 3 floppies that I kind of pushed on stores throughout Southern California before I did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then during like the whole Comicsgate boom, man, I brought that over and compiled the first 3, released that as a graphic novel. while I was working on the second graphic novel. So then
Nice.
I did the second graphic novel, put that one out, and that was about 10 years, dude. So it's a few pages right there, and then now I'm working on a new book called Hell War, because I wanted to take, I wanted to just, because there's a lot of I hate to use the word IPs, but that's what they are. There's a lot of different characters that I want to, that have stories that I want to tell. So right now I'm working on this book Hell War, which is a Viking bounty hunter.
Oh, nice.
Going through the 9 realms. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's an easy way for someone to populate. I hate like using, but anyway, it's like Thor mixed with Hulk and Lobo. So that's kind of what you get. And he's a character I kind of was conceptualizing about 10 years ago, and I was like, damn, I really want to do Hell War. And he's in a band. He's in a metal band.
Nice.
It's his last day on the job. He's been working for Helnora, which is the goddess of hell, and he's trying to free his brother from Helheim. And it's during the 90s, so there's no cell phones, there's no texting, so that's like a big like mechanic for storytelling. I don't like seeing texting in my, I mean, it's annoying. So for me, I mean, it's cool, I'll buy comics, but for me, I'm not going to ever put a book that's, you know, like that. I mean, don't quote me, but so there's that, and then I get to mess around with a lot of the Norse myth. I'm really into that, and the metal scene,
Right.
and I could draw a lot of battles, and try to put some heart in there too, and make a fun black and white comics. I'm doing that, and then me and Brian Christgau are also working on a book too.
Nice.
Puritanian.
Nice.
So that's another character I came up with about 10 years ago, and Brian's I came up with a concept, and Brian's he's writing the story, and we're really whittling the character down to where he's solid as fuck, and with the story too. So that's going to be me and him going 50-50 on that one. So that, and then I'm working on both those books right now. Hell War's 40 pages done. I'm doing 80 pages, and then
nice. All right.
Fucking Puritanian. Me and him are just working on it right now. We had our first actual meeting a week ago. So, and I came up with a concept for it, and he liked it too, and he's already got like the first part of the story, and anyway, but yeah, so I'm really excited.
That's great, dude. So you're gonna have it sounds like you have 2 books then in the works.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm working on. So I'm really excited about that. Timothy says, "Hell yeah," it's who I am.
Well, I follow you on Twitter, dude.
Yeah, I still got to get that, man.
And Timothy, he hustles, man. Like, I always recognize the hustlers. The people who actually push their product out, and they push themselves. And I've learned because I'm fairly new to social media, kind of. I got back into social media back in 2018, I want to say.
Yeah.
So it finally took maybe until last year or early last year, 2023, when I realized, okay, everyone has their own pockets of the demographic, right? One group over here prefers a certain kind of book, another group over here prefers another kind of book, and that's when I realized, okay, that's the new marketplace essentially. So
right,
I could try to sell my books to those pockets, but everyone likes what they like, and I realized that that's just the nature of the game today. Is that's just the way it goes. And the goal now 2024 forward is to see if I could write a book that could transcend all those groups, and everyone would like it. At least a few people from all those groups will like it.
Yeah, like that's a challenge, and then you love the book too, you know what I mean? And then also just knowing again where the industry is going as far as comic book goes, man. Like you got to kind of find where the fans go and where the customers go, and pivot.
Absolutely.
And if you don't pivot, then you're fucked.
Exactly.
And tomorrow it might be there's like right now it's kind of what we're doing, and the stores are kind of suffering right now in some ways. I don't know. It's all just about pivoting, and things change and things go different ways, and
that's a great word. That to describe it, pivot. I know that Richard Meyer, your boy Zach, I subscribe to his channel, and he mentioned that word.
He's doing it too.
And that's not, there's no shame in that, and that's why I agree with him when he said that back in the day comic book publishers would pivot, like you just mentioned. They would pivot because he used the example of Todd McFarlane and how when he was drawing Spider-Man, a lot of the Marvel editors didn't really like the way he was drawing Spider-Man.
Right.
But they saw at the same time, well, fuck, he's selling a bunch of books though.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Does it have that cool factor? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They have to be cool, and they have to resonate with heart. I think. It's like the cool factor will sell the book, but if you want the customer to come back, the story, it falls on the writer, and it has to have heart.
Absolutely.
It has to grab you by your fucking heart and pull you back. Like, whoa, get my heart back. It has to.
And you could tell that Tom McFarlane did put his heart into drawing Spider-Man the way he did, which is what led to the editors going, well, fuck, I don't like the way he's drawing Spider-Man, but I kind of want my bonus this year, so let's pivot. Let's pivot and let him do it, you know?
Yeah, you know, and you know, I don't know. It just it's a tricky thing. You know what I mean? Like right now, manga's really big. Some people might want to do black and white comics and maybe make them smaller. I don't know. Maybe they make them bigger. Also, BD is fucking huge. The whole French market. Some people, you know, like big books and big formats and painting and stuff like that. Also, crowdfunding. It's kind of big. People like boutique stuff. They like collectability. So you can kind of factor all that stuff in too, you know. Some people want cheap stuff, cheap shipping. All these things are very important to think about when you're making. It's a multitude of things. It's not just one thing. It's ever changing, you know. So it's a constant. It's something that you have to fucking Batman every fucking day. You got to Bruce Wayne that every day. You have to check it out. You have to know everything about the world for like you spend 30 minutes on it. All right, I'm off to work now. But something you got to check in on every day, which is kind of lame. But you know, it is what it is. Devil Flyer saying what up. Dude, Devil Flyer, your new icon, that paint job on dude, looks sick. I know he's stockpiling a gang of stuff for his new book, Devil Flyer. You got to come on here, man, when you launch or whatnot, dude. You gotta get you on the show.
Yeah, I'll definitely check you out. What's up, Finity?
What's up, Finity?
Is that a donut or is that a
one of those nuts or holes? For sure, man. I was wondering, man, you as far as like your okay, so your writing process. Okay, so what do you do? Like let's say what are some of the things you do? Like say you have an artist, right? Do you send them the full script, or do you send them a little bit and they come back Marvel method, or how do you go about doing that? Because
it depends on the artist I'm working with. Okay, you know, from the ages of 18 to probably I would say 30, when I turned 30, those were my trial and error years. Those were the years I had to figure out what the collaboration process was about, because I didn't have anyone, you know, I didn't go under anyone's wing. No one taught me the ropes. No one said, oh, you got to do it this, you got to do it this way, or approach it that way. I had to learn the hard way, meaning I had to burn a few bridges because of my I guess I don't want to say ignorance, but just my nescience of the approach of writing comic books. And so I've learned that I now ask the artists I work with, do you want a detailed script where you just don't have to worry about camera angles? I worry about that and I write it, or would you prefer the Marvel, like you said, the Marvel method loose script where I just write a very basic description and you can have fun figuring out where to lay out the panels and whatnot. And it's about 50-50 for my personal experience, where I've had an artist go, yeah, no, you do that. You go ahead and do that. I'll just draw it and get it over with. Gambino, the artist for Vigilant Fury, he was like, give me the Marvel method. Give me the Marvel style. I want to actually have fun with like the camera angles and whatnot. So he delivered, man. He had a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun figuring things out, because this is his first comic book that he's ever produced. So
nice.
Everything was a learning process for him, but he caught on quick, and he definitely has a great eye for sequential storytelling, which is the reason why I picked him. Because when he showed me his samples, when I put out the word out that I was looking for an artist for this project, he was the only artist among a few others that I thought, okay, his style may not be exactly what I'm looking for this book, but he has a great sequential storytelling eye, which is important.
Yeah, that's the most important. You know, that's the that's the heart and soul of the comic. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And for me, like the covers are like, I hate to say it, but it's the face, the tits, and the ass. But the inside of the comic is the heart and soul. You know, so
absolutely.
If they're gonna come back. It's got to be written good, and it's got to be, the story's got to be, the sequential's got to be on point, the storytelling, so
yeah, it definitely is a method to invoke some kind of emotion when you want a reader to experience your story. And there are a lot of writers of old that were able to really master that. Alan Moore's one, the 3 B's, blah, blah. Absolutely. Alan Moore's one, that was one of my favorites. Brian Azzarello, Ed Brubaker, and Peter David was another one of my favorites, where I was like, yeah, this guy really they can really write powerful gut punching stories. So that's what I try to emulate when I write, is try to emulate those writers, because they always invoked emotions with me whenever I read their stuff, because they were so good at timing, the pacing, the character development, dialogue, and even the whole story overall. And I'm confident that Vigilant Fury will have that, because I really did pour my heart and soul, like I do every story that I write. But for this one, it was really, I really did, like, really dug deep with this one, because it involves a topic that's been important to me for a lot of years before it became, quote unquote cool, which is the human trafficking. And thank you, Chris.
Well, Chris, hell yeah,
much love. Which was human trafficking, because I had researched. Yeah, as a writer, I'm sure, like, since you write your stuff, you do a little bit of research, that way you could be at least somewhat accurate to what you want to portray.
Everything, yeah.
And so the human trafficking thing was just something that I started researching because I read a book called the Franklin Cover-Up, and I stumbled upon it because I found a documentary on YouTube called The Conspiracy of Silence. And it was, I don't know if you heard of it, or the people in the chat have heard of it, but it was a documentary produced by the Discovery Channel during the early 90s, when it was, the channel was new.
Yeah.
And it was about this controversial thing that happened with a credit union in, I think it was Nebraska, the state of Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Nebraska or if it was another state in that area. I just can't remember which state it was.
Yeah.
And it was run by a person named Larry King, not to be confused with the TV host.
Yeah.
And it talked about, and then the Senate committee, investigated what happened, because the credit union went broke. Like it totally went broke, and they found out that money was embezzled. So a Senate committee was formed to investigate what happened, because obviously it was a federal credit union. So how the heck do you mess up a federal credit union, right? And then then the Senate committee discovered little by little, and mind you, this investigation happened in the 80s, where they discovered there was a child trafficking network that was funded by the embezzling of those funds.
Fucking crazy.
And that's pretty much was the rabbit hole. That was the rabbit hole where I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
then then of course I started researching more about that topic, and it was tough, man. I'll
crazy
admit,
stories, man. There's like a lot of crazy stories about that. Like, my wife's always
tremendously amount of crazy stories.
I still want to watch Sound of Freedom. I haven't seen that yet. It's on it's on.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon, right?
Yeah, I just got Amazon yesterday again, because I want to watch that and Reacher, and there's a couple other movies. But that, and like just stories about like people like taking your kids and like fucking moving them out of the country, and saying, I don't know, like this weird
terrible
like,
stuff,
just like kids getting taken from their parents. It's fucking crazy, man.
Very crazy. I don't want to dwell too much, because it's a dark place.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah,
but that's pretty much was the that kept nagging at me, as when I was trying to figure out, okay, I need to do it, because I want to focus on one shots going forward.
That's the way.
Cheaper,
yeah,
a little
smart.
cheaper, a little more doable financially, budget wise. So I was like, okay,
Right.
I need to do a one shot, and this knowledge, right? That the research that was in there just kept gnawing at me, and I was like, I need to do something about this. But I didn't want to focus too much on the topic, because after all, we're in the business of entertaining people. So how can I get this kind of topic and make it entertaining? And of course, Die Hard. I watched Die Hard, and I was like, "That's it. That's it. There's my story. I gotta write an escape archetype story where a person gets captured and they have to escape from their captivity." And that's what pretty much sowed the seeds of Vigilant Fury.
That's awesome, man. I have actually the campaign right here, man. Is it it's cool if we pull it up real quick?
Oh yeah, go for it, man. Go for it.
All right, cool. Just give me 1 second. I was wondering too, man, like as far as like your writing goes, do you have like a habitual ritual that you do like before you start writing, like to pump you up, or you just kind of go in there and you just start writing?
Yeah, I actually listen to believe it or not, 80s synth music.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was talking to Mike. Like it's cool having writers on the show, and I was talking to Mike Barron, and he's like, "No, I just get in there and do it," you know. And me, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. I don't really have anything because if I'm writing, I'm writing. If I'm drawing, I'm drawing. You know what I mean? And
right.
I set like if I'm gonna be writing a book, like at least in the past, I would just be like, that's it. Like I'm not working on any drawings right now. I'm just really focused in on that, you know, and nothing, you know. So I put on movie scores a lot.
No, hey, those help too. And the reason why I chose the synth, because I really wanted to capture almost like that 80s action vibe.
Oh,
and John Carpenter, you know, John Carpenter was the master of the 80s synth when he scored his movies.
Yeah.
And so I just used that to kind of push me to like, okay, what's the story going to be? And so the way I do it is I freestyle it. So I just write it all out.
Right.
And I don't care what happens. I just write out the whole thing that feels right to me.
Yeah.
And then once I write it all out, mistakes and all, plot holes and all.
Oh,
I write little notes to figure out later, and then I keep
start
writing.
somewhere, right?
Yeah, and then I go back. I wait a day or two, and then I go back to it, and then I start editing. Finessing it, changing it, fixing it, and I go about 5 or 6 edits before I finally go, okay, I think we got it here. This is it, and that's pretty much the. Eventually becomes the plot summary of the entire story, and that's what I use to pitch to artists who are interested in working with me. I go, here's the summary, the plot summary. Here's what's happening from the beginning, middle, and end in the story. And if this is something that you think you would like drawing, then we could talk business. But if not, you know, hey, no problem. It's all good. And, you know, good luck to you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How about some hardcore punk?
Yeah, that could work, you know, depending on the
story. I love hardcore punk.
This will work pretty good with the Vigilant Fury, I think.
I just can't do. I can't write with lyrics. I tried, I can't either. And I can't. It's too distracting.
Me. Well, it's just I can't have my words in my head or my words in that, you know. And then when I do dialogue, I'll speak it out. You know what I mean? I kind of I act it out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, well, that sounds stupid, or that sounds corny, or no, that doesn't sound stupid or corny enough. Because again, I'm writing. I'm not writing. I'm writing fiction. Like I'm not writing. Like, oh, that doesn't sound real world. It's like, yeah, but none of this shit wouldn't happen in real life anyway.
Exactly.
So it's like I do need to have some sauce in there. I do need some corn cheese. Like it's got to have a little bit of that. So that's a fine line too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I Am Legend. Yeah, that's an old one right there. First zombie vampire book right there.
Absolutely.
Depeche Mode and Human League. Excellent for writing.
Ooh, Human League. I haven't heard of them.
My daughter wants.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode,
absolutely. Depeche Mode.
My daughter's got a whole 80s theme party lined up, so we're clicking out.
Oh, I'm sure you're pumped, man. You can play all those famous
80s songs. So, you know, and I'm like trying I got a good song. I'm like trying to think like, fuck. Because when I was a kid, I used to hate all the 80s fucking new wave shit. I fucking hated it, you know. And as I got older, I'm like, damn, those bands, man, they really.
Isn't that weird, dude? Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah,
that happened.
Like, those guys had the best choruses and like the best, like hookiest choruses, you know. Like Depeche Mode's one of them. But I always liked Depeche whenever I first like heard them. Like I don't know, that full, really really haunting voice, you know, melancholic.
Oh yeah,
you know, it sounds really cool, and like so many
Depeche
hits. Like
Mode, and then you have New Order. New Order were really good, and of course the band before New Order, which was oh gosh, what's the name of that band?
There's a one band. Was it Talk Talk? Is that one of them? Was there one band called Talk Talk? Or I forgot the name of it. They had that one hit, I think, or maybe they had more, but. Yeah, that song's really cool. I can't even like think about it right now, but Aha, they had that one song, Take On Me, with the comic book. I always like that.
Oh yeah, dude, that was a great music video.
It's that full notes, like dope ass video, fucking chorus slaps, and then his his highs are so fucking good. I think they're from Sweden. Those Swedes really do some in the water over there.
It was Joy Division.
Joy Division, okay.
Well, I mean, they were, I guess, they were they were late 70s, I guess, but they probably, I think they ushered in that 80s sound,
that new wave.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. What you do? You got a little trailer right here. It's cool if I play your trailer real quick and take a gander at that. All right, let's get in there.
That was a trailer done by Anthony Gambino himself.
Yeah, that's a fucking dope ass trailer. I think it really sets up the book, man. At least like the feel of the book, from what I gathered, because I did that piece for you, you know what I mean? Just some of the imagery you showed me, and I was just like, damn, this book looks fucking cool, man. It reminded me of, like you said, Die Hard and Under Siege, but even more of a better, but a better concept of, and a better character. John McClane's the shit, but there's the fucking shit that she's gonna be going through. It's a different level. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but, my wife deserves credit for that, because she's the one that suggested it in the beginning. Matt is butch. Yeah. Yep. She's my test audience, because my wife is not really a comic book reader herself. She's just more of a consumer. She knows, she just watches what she deems is good, and that's about the end of it. She doesn't go any deeper than that. No, she finds behind the scenes stuff boring. I love it. I'm all about the behind the scenes featurettes on the Blu-rays,
the DVDs and shit.
And and the DVDs. And so whenever I would picture an idea or a story, and if I don't get the reaction that I'm looking for, which is like, eyes, eyebrows raise and perk up, and I go, then I'm like, okay, it needs more work. And so as I was pitching to her the I think it was the second iteration of it, which was a man. It was supposed to be a male character.
Yeah.
And she kind of was like, yeah, that's cool, but she's like, I feel like I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess we have. I said, yeah, it's cool. It sounds good, but why can't it be a woman? I was like, well, I don't know. I never thought of it. She's like, well, I mean, when you think about it, it's women are the ones that have the highest percentage of kidnapping and human trafficking, when you think about it. And I was like, yeah, no, that's true. You're right. And she's like, and on top of that, it'd be very interesting to see what a woman of her stature would be able to do against a group of hardened criminals, human traffickers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and of course the light bulb went on, and I was like, yeah. And so right back to the drawing board, I had to redo the whole story again, but still kept the foundation intact. So I just had to tear down the house, but keep the foundation and rebuild it as Vigilant Fury. And the challenge was, how is she going to get out of this? What is she going to do to get out of this? And I didn't want to do the whole, Mary Sue, perfect badass. She beats everyone up with ease. Approach. I wanted something that's like, no. I want a little bit of realism here. I want to tackle like a true crime flavor, where a woman who's about 5'2", 5'3", with no weapons, going up against hardened, criminals with weapons. How is she going to get out of this situation? And that was the challenge when I wrote the script, because I had the summary, but I didn't have the detail as to what was going to happen page per page until I got Gambino signed on. And then once I got Gambino signed on, and I worked on the script, and that took me about, I would say, maybe a month to write it out, the whole script. And it ended up being 80 pages. It was supposed to be 40 pages originally. That was how I got Gambino to sign on, because he was like, oh, 40 pages, okay, that's not bad. And as I kept writing it, the pages kept going up with every new edit. Hey, what's up, Sim?
What up, Sim?
And it went, the second edit, 50 pages. And I told Gambino, hey, I'm sorry, man, it looks like it's gonna be about 50 pages. And he's like, oh, all right, that's fine, that's still doable. And then I did the third edit, and then it went up to 60 pages. And eventually, when I got to the fifth edit, it ended up at 80. And of course, at this point we were on talking terms, Gambino and I, so we were talking on the phone by this point.
Oh, nice.
And so I called him and say, look, Anthony, I'm sorry, man. I know I promised you I wouldn't put any more pages, but the script calls for it, and it just feels right doing it 80 pages, because if we do anything less, it's gonna feel rushed. It's gonna feel like a Deus Ex Machina type of deal where everything kind of falls in place for her, and I don't want that. I want struggle. I want a fight from beneath, underneath.
Yeah, definitely.
And the analogy I used was pro wrestling. I said, because he doesn't know anything about pro wrestling. Did you watch pro wrestling at all?
I did back during like the network wars and whatnot, and then I watched a little bit of I like the Warrior, the Undertaker.
Okay.
But like Raw's
you understand like a little bit of the wrestling trope, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get the good guy, quote unquote good guy, the baby face, and you go up against the heel bad guy, and the good guy always has to fight from underneath. He has to always overcome the bad guy cheating, doing things behind the ref's back, that kind of stuff. So that's what I wanted to capture with this. I say because my wife again told me it'd be interesting if she's just think of it like the male against male thing. Papa Shango, yeah, dude.
that was the Godfather too.
That was the Godfather, yeah. She said, yeah, the male versus the males will be like a wolf versus wolf, but a female against the males would be a fox versus wolf. So a fox is very cunning. Fox won't
like
go
Rambo
to toe.
I mean,
like
it's
what?
not like Rambo, but that first Rambo, you know what I mean? I think.
Well, how he lured him out to the woods.
Yeah, all the little traps.
Get the advantage.
Like I hate to say it, a little off, like way the fuck out there, but a little bit of Home Alone too. You got the little person dealing with the traps and whatnot like that. But it has to be a lot of that, and that's fucking interesting, because that's abandoning, that's severing the Mary Sue. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People are gonna want to read that, and if you have like a little bit of Mary Sue in there, because it is a fucking comic, that's cool. Like I like that movie, Prey. They didn't go full Mary Sue with her in that origin, the Predator movie, but they kept it kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was a fine line, bro.
Yeah, Anthony did tell me he watched the movie, and I said, "Hey, just make sure it's not," because I was afraid it was going to be kind of similar to Vigilant Fury because of the
right.
Because I was like, "Well, it's a woman going up against a predator, so I would imagine it's going to be the kind of the same thing, traps and whatnot." But he saw it and he was like, "No, it's actually kind of it's different, but it's still the same idea, but it's not exactly the same." I was like, okay, all right, good.
Oh yeah,
So I told Anthony, I said, "Look, here's the script. I'll send you the script, and if you can figure out how to cut this, I'm all for it. Like, go for it, cut it, and we'll do it. You want a war? I'll give you a war you won't believe. That's right.
War you won't believe."
And so then he read it, and about a week later, after I sent him the script, he called me back and he says, "Yeah, we can't cut this. Like, we need to keep it intact."
Yeah, especially if it's like a one and done, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel that like for sure if it's gonna be like there's a definitive, like it's gonna be a one and done, like nothing's coming back. You kind of, you want to have that option to have it up to a good amount of pages, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And again, Anthony did a wonderful job.
I love his art, man. I love his art.
Yeah, and the funny thing about his art is that originally it wasn't supposed to be ink wash like it is now, like you see now. On the screen. It was supposed to be a stark black and white. We're going to go for like the Frank Miller Sin City look. That was the aesthetic we wanted.
I still get a little Frank Miller off him too, like the old school Frank. I like that shit.
And he about 20 pages in, drawing in that style, he texts me and says, yeah, I'm not digging this. And at first I thought it was the story or the fact that he had to commit for 80 pages.
Yeah.
So I was a little scared at first. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, I'm not liking what I'm drawing. I'm not digging it. And so he struggled with that for a while. And then he was on a live stream. I think it was Ben Soto's live stream. And he was working on a commission piece, and he did an ink wash piece for Spencer, the writer of Voidwalker.
Oh yeah.
Spencer Desmond, I think his name is.
Yeah, Spencer.
So he was doing a commission piece for him for one of his projects, and I saw the piece, and I was like, dude, how come you didn't tell me you could draw ink wash? Right. And he's like, I didn't know either. Not until that night.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh.
It was his first time doing it, and I was like, you know what, man, I think this is it right here. And he said, I think so too. I'm feeling good with ink wash. And so then he decided I'm going to do ink wash going forward. So from pages 20 up till now, because I think he has one more page left, ink wash. So now he has to redo the first 20 pages as ink wash, but it caused a delay because it was supposed to come out last year, but since we decided to change the style of the art, there was a delay, and we let the backers know, and thankfully the backers were understanding. And there is a funny story too on top of that where I believe forget his name. He does Alterna. He's working for Alterna. He's an artist himself. Oh gosh, why can't I remember his name now? Well, anyways, him and Gambino are friends, and Anthony was like, "Oh, you think the backers are going to get mad that we're changing the style?" And his friend was like, "What? They're going to get mad at you for making the book look better?" Like, right. Like, dude, who cares? Like, just do it. Yeah. Like, it's going to be better. The readers and the backers are not going to mind that you made the book look better. Yeah, and that you put more effort into it,
dude. Like the thing about crowdfunding too is, and it's like independent people. Like for me, I've backed a lot of books, and I don't know. I mean, I am a creator, so some people might say there's some bias in there, but I really, I'm there to. It's a crowd fund, so I'm there to help the person raise monies to make the book, and I understand that I'm gonna get it when I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? Obviously, if it's 5 years or something, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, it's like I kind of know that's a possibility. I hope it's not,
right,
but it's a possibility, bro. You're back in the book, and hopefully it'll be the best thing that the creators can do, and you're bringing them into the comics stratosphere, dude, and like trying to get them to get their their career established. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's just the way I've always looked at it. So
and that's still the goal. That's still the goal, is to find have a career, making making a honest livelihood, producing comic books.
Yeah, I'd love that, man. That would be definitely my goal.
Yeah, isn't that the dream? Like that'd be the dream. And I also understand that in this day and age, it really does entail having a social media presence, doing the YouTube live streams like we're doing now.
Lots of stuff.
And getting readers and backers accustomed to the faces behind the projects. And
and the trust factor,
the trust factor, that's another key right there, a trust factor. And you mentioned late books, 5+ years, and that is weird. But again, all it takes is communication, really. If you just communicate, hey, we ran into a hiccup, we apologize, but we're working on it, and we're going to get you your books as soon as we can. And that's it. That's enough. That's enough for backers to be like, all right, that's cool. At least they let me know. But when you go radio silence
for like a year, here's a page, and it's like a year later, like, okay, this person's definitely not going to ever finish it.
It's like, wait a minute, so I guess I'm burned. All right,
like, damn, this fool's art's dope as fuck, and like, he's like got, or is it cool, it's a dope ass character, but I'm not going to back him ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't trust him. That just
there is unfortunately, all comic book readers, we are conditioned to have our stuff in a timely manner.
Exactly.
We go every Wednesday to the comic shop. We come back every month for the next issue.
No excuses. Yeah.
No excuses. Exactly. Unless you have a good excuse, then we can forgive it. But we're so accustomed to that. That's why it was so new for a lot of backers to have
it's
to
completely
wait a year
different.
and a half for their
It's
book,
a
right?
mind fuck. It's a mind
yeah.
fuck, and
Right.
you have to convert the fucking Wednesday Warriors into that, and a lot of them just don't. It's to take a while to just kind of think. First you got to give them the Coca-Cola thing. It's Kickstarter. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
that's what that is. Then there's Indiegogo, and then now there's now there's Fund My Comic. And it's just crowdfunding. So now it's like, okay, this is cola now. It's crowdfunding. It's not just it's that, and then you back something, and again, it's not a I hate to say it. I forgot the term. I've used it a million times, but pre-order. That's the word.
Yeah.
It's not a pre-order. So pre-orders are different. Then you start breaking down into different subclasses of comics of raising the funds and whatnot. But this is crowdfunding, and that's crowdfunding isn't going anywhere. People are going to be doing it forever as long as there's products that need to be made that come from an inventive field or an artistic field. So. Right. It is what it is.
And I think just this past week, I mean, I'm sure you saw on your feed, but on my feed, I saw a few people posting screenshots of how many campaigns they backed, and it's over 100. Well, a lot of people were posting they were like, dude, you backed over 100 campaigns? That's wild. But again, to your point, people are ready for it. People want to do it. Yeah, and that's great. That we need that. We need that healthy marketplace, so that way creators like yourself and me can have some kind of I guess security to continue making comics.
I seen some dude did 500. That was the biggest one.
500, damn.
Yeah, for me, I actually like backing campaigns. It's my hobby. That's what I like to do. I don't play video games. I make comic books, and then I back books when I got money, and they cost a lot of money. The books do. For me, $35 is a lot of money, but that's that's what I like to do. I like to back books, and like to see the product, and it's new stuff, and it's awesome, dude. There's a bunch of reasons, so and just to see these creators bring their shit to life, that's fucking cool too, so that's my hobby, man. But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can,
Same.
And it's all about the I say for people like me, it's all about the emails, the follow-ups. I like a monthly email should be a standard. I want to know what's going on every month, or something like that. You know what I mean? Or every couple.
Yeah, no,
months,
that's not a lot to ask for either. It's not. It's very what do you call it? Very reasonable.
I think so. You know what I mean? Because it's at that point, I mean, again, we're going back to a crowdfund. I know, if I'm going to Vegas, I'm taking, and I don't gamble, but if I do, I'm gonna take $500 and I'm gonna lose that fucking money. It's never coming back. Right. So that's the same thing I think about if I'm gonna back a book, right? I already think that because it could happen, and even there's disclaimers on all these things. You might not get your shit,
Right.
So, but again, at the same time, 90% of the people that are doing these campaigns, they're in our network. They're part of the movement, the network, the fucking Comicsgate, fucking Iron Age. We all know each other. It's a small fucking industry.
Right.
So we're gonna know if you're not doing your shit. People talk. It's gonna happen. They're gonna talk good about you, or they're gonna talk shit about you. It is what it is. So, I just think it's cool. Do your monthly update. I don't know. You gotta stay a professional too, to a certain degree.
Absolutely. I think that's another factor that us indie types don't take into account, which is there needs to be a level of professionalism, which is why you're a professional. Now, professionalism doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to be nice to everyone who comes at you with an attitude.
Oh yeah,
but it does mean you need to be strategic in your response.
Yeah, strictly.
We're doing the best we can. Hope you stick with us, but you can't win them all, right? You can't be like the freaking Buddha and be cool with everyone. It's just sometimes, hey, shit happens, but at the same time, when you're in the if you want to be considered or be taken serious by readers and backers, then yeah, I think not creating, but cultivating a professional approach is definitely going to help in the long run to gain more readers and more backers. for future projects.
And people take that serious and know you acted as a professional and you're going to deliver as a professional, and you're keeping them informed with your emails and whatnot, even if it's stupid shit.
Yeah,
I like to know the reason. Like for me, I'm the type of guy that likes to know. I'm like a CIA thing. I like to just know shit. You know what I mean? I like details. I like over communication. Even with my story writing, if I'm working on something with somebody, I ask the stupid question: what belt buckles do they got? What leather? I mean, not like that, but I mean, I want to know every little detail. Like, so if it's something has to do with this stuff, I kind of like to know details. I don't know. And if I don't, that's cool too. But I mean, at least I know that you give a fuck.
Right.
So, and it's just that, and we're talking about deep dives and details and writing and things like that. So I don't know. I think over communicating is cool, but yeah, man, you got a bunch of cool tiers on here. You down to go over some of these tiers?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go for it. So, the one that we recommend is that one, the level 4 commission bundle.
Nice.
And that's the book with a 9x12 commission piece by Gambino. And just for the record, Anthony doesn't do digital. He's purely traditional. So what you see here is on paper, is on a Bristol paper.
Love it.
And so you're going to get a 9x12 commission piece of your choice. So we still have that door open. So if you have a specific request, then Anthony will be able to do it within reason, of course. No George Perez level commission pieces. A basic one that you prefer, and he'll do it. And then of course there's a PDF copy.
Nice.
For our international backers who don't want to pay the big hefty international shipping price. And then we have the tier that's just the book itself for $15. So $15 for 80 pages of story.
I gotta ask you, what kind of are you still fucking around with like what type of print you're gonna use for like the book or whatnot? As far as like the matte finish or the gloss or whatnot, like for the cover and everything.
I don't know. Right now it's still up in the air with Gambino and I, because I don't mind matte finish. I actually prefer it because the glossy. As much as I love glossy, I don't know why, but I just like the feeling of the matte finish.
Me too. I think even this book would look fucking dope, and like even as as a zine, dude, like that thick paper.
Oh yeah,
with like
absolutely
gas pages, or even like that'd look cool. Or even like a big kind of magazine size would look sick too. Like a BD. But like that cardstock kind of zine, I don't know. I just see that like really thick paper.
Yeah,
even saddle stitch, it would look fucking dope like that.
Oh, if only I could do. Yeah, if we could do saddle stitch, that'd be fucking awesome.
But I like, I'm kind of like a print whore, dude. Like I like the different styles and just the way things come out. Like I like just the different bindings, dude, the different finishes, all that. Right. Sometimes I know what they are, but sometimes the titles of the different finishes and whatnot escape me. But I like saddle stitch. I like the different bindings. I like the triple French folds, all that shit,
Yeah, that's dope. But we still haven't explored. We haven't explored that yet. Not until we're ready. We're ready to print and send the book to the printers, and then maybe that's when we'll sit down. We'll probably have a sit down and talk thoroughly as to what exactly we want the book to look like and how we want to present it. I'm leaning towards like a one of a kind, because we do want. I mean, I could say that we both want to expand. So once we fulfill the book to our backers, we will shop this book around to publishers, and we're hoping to get someone. So we hope one of the publishers will pick it up. I'm aiming towards Dark Horse. So
Dark Horse would be cool.
Gambino wants to do the independent route, but I don't know why. I don't know why. I just feel like this would be a good Vigilant Fury would be a good place. Dark Horse would be a good place for Vigilant Fury.
So, for sure.
And I'm not sure why, but I just feel like that's a good fit. But I do want to reiterate that I want the book to be a unique one for our backers, so that way when we do go to the publishers, it's going to be totally different. And the backers will have like that one of a kind
collectible
book. Yeah,
and again, that goes back to that collectability factor.
Exactly.
And like, so again, we're a movement and stuff, but we're a fucking bubble, and there's like fucking billions of people out there that are not going to see the book. You know what I mean? That'll never ever see our books. You know, so we have to find ways to get them out there. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a way to give a special thank you to the backers who took a risk.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's another reason why I want this book to be special. You know, just for our backers, so that way whoever buys the book after the fact, they won't get the extra goodies. They won't get the way we printed the book. It'll just be strictly for the people who backed it and took a risk with us, because, you know, we're fair, even though we've been in the game for a long time, you and I, and to the eyes of the reader, we're newbies. We don't. We haven't proven ourselves yet. So, I want to really showcase that. Yeah, I'm the real deal when it comes to delivering a quality product.
That's awesome, man. That's the way to do it, brother. And then you got level 3 sketch card bundle right here.
That's the one where you get the book and you get a little little sketch card.
I like that.
I
like that
size of a little card. Once again, of anything you want, of a character you want, and if you don't reach out to us, then he's just going to draw whatever. I think he decided that he's going to draw a character from the book, and that's what you're going to get. Yeah,
that makes sense. You got level 5 original
level
art
5.
Get original.
That
page.
Is, you get the book and you get a page, an actual original page from the book.
That's cool, man. It's always cool when like people throw in, like, I don't know, when they buy like a page, you throw in the book too, you know.
Yeah, and that one is that was a cool one because it you could own an actual page from the book, and if you, depending on which page you want or specifically ask for, there's going to be a few pages that have the flip over panels because it was nice. He fixed it.
So, no, that's, like, for me, I like that stuff. You know what I mean? It's part of the process. It's almost like an artifact of a artist edition. You know what I mean? Yes. And an artifact. So it's a multitude of different things. And if you frame it up, you can even kind of fold over the flap, like in the frame, like lay it down, fold it over, and frame it on your wall.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. There's a couple different ways you could display that in a frame, and it's like a talisman and artifact, you know, of the work. Happy New Year, brother. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Devil Flyer.
Devil Flyer, man. I don't know if you ever watch his streams. They're fucking fun. I try to catch him whenever I can, but he's, you know, it's a lot of times it's during the day when I'm at work, but yeah, man, he's got a multitude of different comics, and he's he's got a lot of really cool fucking characters. He's got a whole
what's his is this YouTube handle, Devil Flyer?
Devil Flyer Momentum. That's his
there he is. I see him.
Yeah. And definitely check out his channel. A great guy. I've been on there a few times. So
I subbed.
Comics and food and all kinds of stuff, man. And cool. He's got his book coming out. I got his ash can. And I can't wait to see what else he's got coming out in his universe. It's really exciting.
Nice. All right.
Still got to get Melvin too, man. I haven't gotten Melvin yet, but his book's gonna be launching though. His next Devil Flyer book.
Yeah, his stuff is looking pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that one too. For Melvin, it's really cool.
Oh yeah,
and the last one is the Gambino special, which is pretty much like a wholesale of sorts of the book. I think you get I believe it's 3 pages of the book.
Nice.
And nice. I think 3 sketch cards and 1 9x12 commission piece.
Fuck, that's dope, dude.
Yeah. And that one's for 400, but you get all that stuff, and you get to own a piece of the book. You know, I try to tell everyone to get those tiers because, you know, they're even though 400 is pretty steep nowadays because the economy is pretty bad right now, but it's really low when you think about it for that many, and it ain't going to be that price after this is completely shut down and we move on and we have the books printed and back to, and, you know, shipped out to the backers. So get them while it's hot, because it ain't going to be 400 or 120 or I think the other one was 75.
Yeah,
because the price of the book was definitely a factor of like, let's keep it for the backers. Like this book is for like straight up for the backers. This price. Melvin number 4. Yeah, see, Melvin number 4, man, that's crazy. Azarka Ashcan Zed and Odysseus number 1, 2024.
You got to pick
Timothy Olsen, just working and work.
That's what it's about, man. Like for me, like I'm making my stuff, you know what I mean, my books, but for some reason, if one's really popular, you know, it's not hard for me to write more, but I'm writing all my stories for them to be one and dones. And but I do have a shared universe. So
Well, there you go.
I'm gonna have like a minuscule breadcrumb, like a little nugget, you know, that could lead into something else. And if I do, then hell yeah, I'm gonna be producing like a lot of that stuff if people want it. I just basically people like things like a good example is like Solomon Kane was Robert E. Howard's favorite character. People wanted
Right.
Conan though, so he didn't do Conan anymore. He just stuck with Conan, but he loved Solomon Kane, you know. So you got to kind of go where the fans want you to go. You know,
Absolutely.
Might be a character you don't really even like, but you know, as much as the other ones, you know. So, but it's yours, so you're having fun.
Exactly.
But that's cool, man. You guys got to get over here, pick this up. Again, you can't really beat that price too, man, for a physical copy. Only $15, and a lot of really cool tiers on here. Get some OG art, and this book's gonna fucking be a really good entertainment piece.
Yeah, I've been lettering the pages, and man, it's like you know, once I wrote the script, I handed it off to Anthony, and he just started working. So I forgot about it, you know, because I moved on, worked on other stuff. And then when he gave me when I finally started, when I had enough pages to finally start lettering them, and I was lettering them, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be fucking good.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really good because you know, it had been a while. It had been a while since I actually looked at the script and looked at the story, and it's very I guess it's a confidence booster to look at your own stuff after weeks and weeks of not looking at it and going, fuck, I'm finding myself excited reading this.
Yeah. That's
you know,
what I
after
do
I
now.
forgot about it. So I hope it shows. I hope the readers pick up on that. It really is a page turner. 80 pages does sound like a lot, but it's really a page turner. It really is.
Yeah.
That was the goal when I wrote the script, is I want this to truly be a page turner. I want essentially I wanted the backers. I want the backers ideally to get the book in the mail, look at it, and be like, "Oh, cool! All right, Vigilant Fury. I forgot about it." And then when they open the page and start reading it, I hope they don't put it down. That was my goal.
Yeah. I'm sure they will, and they'll pick it up and like, "Oh, damn, this story's good," you know, and they just
and then you find yourself like, "I finished it." Like, "Oh crap, I finished it."
That's the whole point, right? Like you don't even really want them looking at any of those fucking hatchings and all the backgrounds and all that shit. You do, and you love it, and we love to draw it, but at the end of the day, you want them to turn that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like just keep going, just keep slamming the pages back, you know, and just seeing what's the next reveal. You know, that's how you know you're doing something good. You know, absolutely. I gotta ask you, man, you got a favorite metal band?
I do. There's a few. Have you heard of a band? They're from Mexico though, called Transmetal.
Transmetal? No,
Yeah, they're one of my favorite. I'm not a big, huge metalhead, but there was a few bands where I was like, yeah, this is bad. This is badass right here, you know.
Oh yeah, for
Transmetal is one.
Let's check them out.
Pantera is another one.
Pantera's dope.
That I dig. You know, it's, like I said, not a lot, but there's a few bands where I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam. The System of a Down's first album.
Yeah.
That version of System of a Down was fucking badass.
I thought the first two were pretty good. One of my favorite bands covered Aerials by them. They're called Amon Amarth. They're like a Viking metal band. They're fun.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They covered Aerials. Like, damn, that shit sounds pretty good. Because they're like, to me, like they were like the only real like heavy sounding metal band like that came out on the radio that wasn't like new metal. You know, it was pretty much. I mean, they kind of were though in a way, but still, they're the guitar tone and whatnot. Them and Slipknot, I think, were the heaviest bands that actually like in metal that played like fucking heavy ass metal. You know, that wasn't
nice.
Slow, kind of like Korn and Limp Bizkit and Deftones, and like it was faster, fucking, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's cool, man.
What about you? What about what's your favorite metal bands?
Oh man, I mean, I like In Flames. That's always going to be like my favorite metal band. They kind of switch up their style though every album and stuff. But I don't know, man. I really like. There's like I got a laundry list of bands that I like. You know, I liked a lot of the Gothenburg sound. It's like melodic death metal. It's like At the Gates. In Flames, Dark Tranquility. Just a lot of bands like this come from Sweden. I don't know what it is. Amon Amarth, Darkane,
I see.
Solution 45, Scar Symmetry. Yeah, dude, I could just keep naming a bunch. Soilwork, like they're all really good bands. Have awesome albums and stuff.
I knew a local heavy metal band in Orange County. Well, no, you're from Orange County. What the hell am I talking? Right?
I'm more like Long Beach.
Long Beach. Okay,
LA
all
County,
right.
but I'm like North Long Beach, like closer to that area.
So I knew a band. I forgot the name of their name.
So Bleeding
I forgot
Through.
the name.
There's a band called Bleeding Through. They're pretty big. I mean, they got kind of big. They're from, I remember from OC, because you had all that OC hardcore and stuff. I don't know. You ever heard of a place called Chain Reaction?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that was the place that was the place to go, man.
Yeah, so I went there a couple times. I think I might have played there a couple times back in the day, in a couple bands. I think I did.
Oh,
actually.
Nice.
And then yeah, that's because I know about that. That's like the place you go to in Orange County.
Yeah,
Reaction, right?
Yeah, for sure. That was my place to go.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the band, but they were really good. And I remember I met the lead singer, and he was dressed like a surfer.
Oh yeah.
and I was at a show, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Oh, are you here to see anyone?" Because everyone was dressed right. Everyone's dressed apart, right? The leather jacket, the chains, but he had like shorts and sandals and the backwards hat and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm performing tonight." And I was like, "Oh, really? Like what? Like what do you play?" He's, "Oh, I play bass and I'm the lead singer." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm thinking in my head, like, "Oh, it must be like a surfer band or something, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's kind of weird that you're here at a metal show."
Right.
Because I was there for another friend of mine who was a metalhead, and I just went out to support him. And his band went on first. And I'll never forget how shocked I was. This surfer looking dude starts playing his bass. A fucking drummer is going off like crazy, man. Amazing drummer. Like he was just the straight up, just the hair headbang. He was like hitting all the drums, double pedal, and the guitar player was all doing the same thing. And then the fucking bass player just starts singing. He's playing the bass for him. I'm like, oh shit, this band sounds pretty fucking dope. And I'm thinking, okay, he might be a screamo band because again, his outfit is throwing me off. And then he's like, I was like,
yeah, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty dope.
And I had my beer, man. I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah,
hell yeah, yeah.
That was a great band. I was really impressed by that band that night. And then the drummer moved to Bulgaria.
Damn.
Because I saw him again like a year later, and I was like, "Dude, what happened to your drummer?" He's like, "Oh, dude, he moved to Bulgaria. He met a girl online and moved over there."
Damn, must have.
And I was like, "That sucks," because he was amazing. It's like, I know. I was sad that he left because he was my guy, right? He was the guy who made the band the way I wanted it.
Yeah,
right?
It's hard to find a good drummer, dude.
Especially, and
he really can elevate.
6 months later, he came back. The drummer came back.
Oh yeah,
and it was funny because he asked me, "Do you know any good drummers?" And I was like, I mean, I know one, but he's kind of a show off. And he's like, good. That's what I want. I want to show off. that's who I'm looking for. So I hooked him up with his number, but I don't think anything came of it. But then he came back. He came back with his girlfriend that he met in Bulgaria. This little petite white girl, it was crazy. I was like, dude, you look like a Native American, dark skin, long, like black hair.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of acne. He had a big old acne problem, and I was like, and you got yourself a little hottie from Bulgaria. Good for you, dude.
I was like, I'm in a band.
Yeah. She was also a metalhead, so it made sense.
Yeah.
Like they probably connected through music and the band.
Metal's huge over there, dude. And like in Europe, it's so big. Like there's this festival in Germany called Wacken or Wacken, and it's like fucking Middle Earth, dude. And it's like 5 days, bro. And like, it's outside. That's one of the. I want to go to Germany, dude. I want to check it out, but probably wait till my kids grow up, so I can do more, But right now I'm in dad mode,
yeah, exactly.
But hell yeah, man! You got a favorite movie, bro?
A favorite movie? Oh gosh, I have so many.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
It's hard to pick one, but I'm still a huge fan of Orson Welles, and I would say Touch of Evil is probably up there for sure. Touch of Evil by Orson Welles, and I would say also, gosh, man, I'm just all these movies are coming up, and I'm like, Um, yeah, I would say for now, just Touch of Evil, and maybe second would be tied. Second would probably be 2001: Space Odyssey and Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
I
Touch
mean,
of
there's
Evil.
there's all these other movies I love, but I would say Touch of Evil because I watch it every year, and every time I watch it, I'm just mesmerized
To
at
check it
like,
out. I have
yeah,
to check
at
that out.
Orson Welles' like ability, because every medium's different, right?
Right.
A movie medium, TV show, everything. And sometimes a few artists come along that just really understand the medium and they utilize everything about what makes it unique.
Yeah, they're wizards for that
Yeah,
media.
exactly. And so Orson Welles did that for me for not only Citizen Kane, but also Touch of Evil.
He's pretty good at the Shadow too. I don't know if you listen to any of his.
I haven't listened to any of his Shadow stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But he was great as Quinlan in Touch of Evil. Remember the character? You know that I forgot the name of the character from the first Batman movie, the Tim Burton one, the big husky detective with the beard and
Eckhart. Yeah.
What was his name?
Lieutenant Eckhart.
Yeah, Lieutenant Eckhart. That was based off that Orson Welles character of Touch of Evil. That's who they I guess it was like a homage to that character because Orson Welles plays a crooked cop in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big husky, like freaking
the freaking Drano.
yeah. And he's trying to sabotage a case and what's his name? Charlton Heston plays. Yeah, Charlton Heston plays a cop from TJ. That's from TJ.
Oh, really?
So he's in brown face. In
the movie. That's how they did that shit all the time,
Yeah.
But
man. No, the movie is fantastic though.
His voice with like kind of like a Chicano accent, that's but the movie's good, right?
Oh, the movie's fantastic. I mean, when you watch it, you're gonna be like blown away by the lighting. It's very noirish.
I had a feeling
it was
black and white, right?
It's black and white, yeah.
Yeah.
And Janet Leigh is in it. She plays Charlton Heston's wife. And the whole movie was just so well done. And of course, 2001: Space Odyssey is just a fucking
Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah.
I still gotta watch that. I haven't seen either of those movies.
Oh, you haven't seen any? Oh, dude! Oh my god, you're in for a treat.
I gotta check those out.
I'm watching it. 2001, I recommend you watch during the day because you might fall asleep at night because it's so.
It's slow. Hard, man. Nighttime's hard, man. I'm trying to find like a way to like caffeinate myself or like because that's when I get my work done. I do it from like I work at night.
Oh, I see.
So because I work all day and I work about 6 days a week. So, but when I work on my comics and whatnot, I do it for at nighttime, and sometimes I'll just fucking fall asleep, dude. Like it's hard, so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll cut out soda, and just kind of have caffeine like in the morning, in the middle of the day, and then at night, maybe just kind of watch how much I have. That way I can, trying different things, man. So definitely watch that during the day.
Yeah, no, definitely watch it because you'll end up falling asleep for that one. Touch of Evil, maybe because the story is still interesting, so it might keep you captivated.
Yeah.
But what about you, man? You have a favorite movie?
Oh yeah. My tie would be Bram Stoker's Dracula, RoboCop, and Conan the Barbarian.
RoboCop, dude. Oh my god. I showed that movie for the first time to my wife. She had never seen it ever.
Oh yeah.
And she's a big sci-fi fan too. She loves sci-fi movies.
Oh yeah.
So when I told her, "Oh, have you ever seen RoboCop?" She's like, "No, I've never seen it." And I was like, "Perfect, let's watch it."
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, she was like, "This was fucking amazing. I can't believe I've never seen this movie before." And it's like it's classic. Fucking RoboCop.
Have you seen RoboDoc on Prime? It's pretty cool. It's
RoboDuck?
RoboDoc. It's a 4-hour documentary on RoboCop, and it's made by I think it's made by some independent people, and it's a series, and there's 4 episodes, each an hour long,
Oh,
pretty
dude,
dope,
thank you for that. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Pretty dope. And they're coming out with season 2. Season 2 is gonna be RoboCop 2, and then season 3 I think is gonna be RoboCop 3, and they're gonna it's just for the RoboCop nerds,
Oh, dude, nice. Hell yeah.
I think 4 is gonna be the TV show. So I didn't really watch the TV show. I think it's on Tubi, but the second one's cool. I mean, and it's got Frank Miller in it. He wrote it and whatnot.
Yeah, he wrote it. It was okay, but nothing beats the first one, man.
The first one's the shit, and I don't know, man. I didn't like the remake. I mean, it was entertaining as like a sci-fi movie, but it just was not RoboCop, And the director is a rocket scientist too, I think. From
but that's the thing. Like, why? That's the best. That's been my beef with Hollywood lately. Is it why do you guys want to remake good movies?
Yeah, remake bad movies, right?
Yeah, remake bad movies. Like I was watching Beastmaster the other night.
Oh yeah.
That movie's pretty dope, I love that movie. That's one of my childhood movies.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That shit's dope.
And I watched it with my wife, and she was like, "Wow, this is so cheesy." I know, but isn't it great though?
Yeah.
But then she said, if they remake this movie today, it could be pretty good. I'm like, I know, right? Like, easily can be fucking great if they made it today. But they want to remake the good stuff for some reason.
They would probably fuck it up though too. That's the thing, you know what I mean? And like sometimes it's like, I mean, they could make it better, right? Like if it was with the right people and everything,
Yeah, the right budget, the right CGI, the right actors.
And it's just sometimes when you have like a perfect storm, it fucks up. Like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, all right,
sometimes
this is to get the best actor to play this character, the best director, everything's lined up, and then it just goes to shit. Like, how the fuck did that happen? They had everything lined up. And sometimes you need like things that are a little off, like there's got to be a balance, I don't know. It's like a weird composition, but I know that movie, I think it was directed by Don Coscarelli. I think he did Phantasm. I'm pretty sure it was him, but that was like a dope ass fucking sword and sorcery movie, man.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
And it's just like a lot of these old movies, like I kind of understand now that like these movies have charm, and like you're kind of supposed to, look like, because I've been watching a lot of older movies as much as I can, usually horror and whatnot. It doesn't really matter the genre, but just in these different time periods, it's just kind of like you got to kind of respect that era, you know what I mean, and respect the charm of that era. And if you know that going into the theater, into your living room watching it, then you're like, oh, okay, this shit's pretty dope. You know what I mean? And what the limitations are of that time and whatnot.
You can see, because you can see that a lot of love passion, a lot of effort got put into it, even though they didn't have the biggest budget.
Right.
You could still tell, and of course the acting wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a charm to it because you could tell that they were having a good time making the movie.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a chore for them to do it.
Right. And like, dude, there's so many fucking, but they're just straight up some good ones, and it's hard to kind of like get people to watch old movies. You know what I mean? Forget a fucking a black and white movie. Most people won't even fuck with that. You know what I mean? Like you can't get them to do that. Like it's almost like something that has to be hammered into them every couple of years, like just a thought that needs to be put in their ear every couple of years. And then
I
someone
think
comes
also
in
it's an age factor too, as well.
Yeah, and once they get a little
older,
older,
when I was younger, there were a lot of
this.
movies I fucking would not ever watch.
Same here.
And then when I got to college, and I took film classes,
yeah,
and I had an instructor explain, why this movie is significant for not only for its time but also for today. Right. And you start to like appreciate it more. You're like, oh, okay, so a lot of effort goes into making these things. A screenwriter, the actors, the director, the producers, the cinematographers, and not only that, but also a love that goes into writing good stories.
Right.
I think it's. I mean, I have faith. I mean, I had a see how everyone's on the same page. Why don't they remake it? Yeah, dude, you're exactly, Finity. It's one of those things that boggles my mind. It's like, just remake the bad ones. Even like They Live, for instance, the movie They Live is still a great movie. Have you seen that movie, by the way?
Well, I mean, I think it's a masterpiece. But I mean, like that, But I understand how you could like take it and make it.
Yeah, you could modernize that movie easily to this day. But you're right; it's still a masterpiece because John Carpenter.
And it's just he just really narrowed. I think he really nailed down 1980s, like downtown LA. Like it's so felt like that, and it really feels like that around here, like in some parts of Los Angeles. Like that's like my kind of feels like some of like my neighborhoods. And I'm like, damn, he really fucking nailed it. And like I don't know, it's just weird. Like, and a lot of those movies too, like they were made on such a low budget. Like some of them had charm, and then some of the movies just felt very on the ground, like in the like on the scene. Very street, and nowadays everything just kind of feels very clean, and everything's got a filter on it, nice lens, even pictures you take, like damn, ooh, I just took a picture, and it looks like a fucking pro just because I just have all these filters on it, I need to get the family photo for Christmas because it just my phone looks good,
Right.
It's just I don't know, but I understand what you're saying though. Like some movies I feel that like they deserve a bigger budget because like there's so much more that the story could be told, and if it's done the right way. Like for me, like I'm really a big fan of like practical effects and makeup and puppetry and creatures that are, you know, puppets and actors that have to wear the prosthetics. Like I'm all about that, you know, and matte paintings in the background, gags, you know, just little stuff like that, smoke and mirrors. That's why I like Bram Stoker's Dracula a lot, because they use a lot of the turn of the century special effects, you know, like smoke and mirrors bullshit. And I think that a lot of movies nowadays, a lot of people just don't even know how to do it. And they just kind of jump to CGI. And I think CGI is cool, but I think it should be there to remove wires and, you know, kind of there to kind of help as basically as a contingency to kind of remove shit, you know, like it's like in Photoshop when you're going in there to erase your pencils over your inks, you know, and every now and then, you know, like we're talking about that tonight with that movie, Deathgasm, you know, he's chopping some dude's fucking head off with an axe, right? But the CGI right when he hits the front of it, but then when they go to a practical effect, it's just full like a puppet, like the head falls off and the blood squirts out, and it's a prop, you know. I'm like, okay, that's cool, like that's how you do it. Even like Guillermo del Toro does it, you know. The scene Hellboy's Tale, and he does it for fun, just to fuck with the eye. Like in this, I don't know if you've seen the special features probably if you've watched that. Like Hellboy's Tale is going to be CGI in the scene. Hellboy's Tale is going to be a prop in this scene, and I'm doing it just because I can. I'm doing it just to fuck with the eye, so people don't know what is CGI and what is not. And I'm like, oh, okay, from, you know, and he's putting some thought into it. But then there's some people that don't even do that, like in Hollywood, you know, they just fucking CGI that shit, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of being who's more. I guess it's all about finding the right balance. Yeah, and I think a lot of, I think the problem really are the gatekeepers in Hollywood, the ones who decide who gets to work and who doesn't. Because I've seen a lot of fucking good directors on YouTube that have YouTube channels, and they're delivering some cool fucking shit. And it's like, why aren't they calling these people here to make?
Yeah, it's a lot of clicks, a lot of clickety and back scratching and families.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, because you can easily, like, if I were a producer with some money, I would, hey, here's 20 million, small budget, make it happen. You know, no more than an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. Runtime. Like for me, like one of my goals too, like that's my bucket list, is I want to make a movie like before I die. You know, it's probably going to be horror because it's a little cheaper, but I want to get some good actors. I want to get some good special effects. You know what I mean? And something that I can film. You know what I mean? And it's attainable, man. And I'll probably shoot it on my phone. You know, and it's
nice.
Probably how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't have any plans for it, but maybe, you know, 10, 15, 20 years from now, but I'd like to do something like that, man. I think it'd be really fun. Hey dude, you got a favorite drink you drink? A favorite beer or something?
I don't have a specific favorite beer. But I fucking do love IPAs. Like, IPAs have become my jam. My brother-in-law is the one who got me into it, because he's from Indiana, and he married my sister-in-law. And one day, you know, we went over to his house, and he's like, "Hey, Julius, you want a beer?" And I thought he was gonna give me like a fucking a Miller Draft or Coors or whatever,
like the piss one.
Hey, but no, he gave me a fucking IPA, and I was like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a IPA beer." I was like, "Was it like what's different about it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just, you know, a little stronger and just a bit more bitterness to it." I was like, "All right." So I drank it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is great. I love this." And then of course I'm a lightweight, so one bottle and I'm already
oh yeah, man. That's good. we live in like the IPA capital of the world, man. Like if you go into like a or something, we got more than anywhere, man. There's a lot. Let's see here.
Hard liquor, I would say Monty's IPA. Okay, yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. In terms of hard liquor, whiskey on the rocks. I'm a whiskey guy.
Yeah, me too. I really like bourbon, but I like the ryes a lot. I like the Bullet Rye a lot, but I'm always, you know, trying different stuff. I like Kraken rum too, the black rum. I know it's kind of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, like it's a pretty big name, but I mean, it's pretty smooth on the rocks, man.
That's what it's all about.
Kraken rum, the dark one, and then man, I tried this one like a week ago. It was called Rebel 100. It was 100 proof, and I just wanted to try it out. It looked decent, and the price was pretty good. It was like $10 a bottle, and some dude online was telling me like what's his name, ID Crisis? Yeah, ID was telling me, he's like, yeah, that shit's fucking like $20 where I live. I'm like, oh damn.
Oh damn, we
so I
got
was like, I
lucky.
got a pretty good price.
Yeah.
So yeah, I killed that bottle. But I'm always trying new stuff. Like yeah, the bourbon's where it's at for me. That's what I like. But yeah, man.
Cool.
And you do got some other projects in the work right now too, right? You were saying coming out possibly this year. Maybe
Yeah,
Ghetto
yeah, I
Dragon.
have
You might do a relaunch on that one, and Ghetto Dragon.
Ghetto
too, right?
Dragon, yeah, for sure. I'm trying to get that brand up and going, that IP. I have an idea for a one shot for that character. And the other sci-fi project is something that I wrote back in 2012, actually.
Nice.
So it's an old book. And you know, I stumbled across it during Christmas time during the break, and I was like, fuck man, I gotta I have to utilize this book. I spent money on the project, I completed it, I should put it out there, you know. But as I read it again, I was like, yeah, I need to rework. I need to rewrite some of this stuff because it's pretty bad. Because like I said, I wrote it in 2012, so I wasn't really entirely too proud of it because it was my first project that I actually completed, and I totally wrote myself into a corner. And so now I have to figure out how to, I guess, rearrange some pages, and I have to hire an artist that kind of draws similar to the original book's artist.
Mm.
And if I can pull that off, then I could salvage the project, because it's a 48-page one shot book.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's about it's pretty much about a cosmic arbiter, like an envoy who lands on the city of Atlantis.
Ooh, nice.
To observe it, to see if it qualifies for a seat in the galactic Federation type of deal.
Dope.
So
I like that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was very bold. And full disclosure, when I wrote it, I was pretty stoned for most of it. So
sometimes, you know, use some ideas,
which is a mistake. I should have wrote it stoned and then edited sober.
Oh yeah, right. That's a good way to do it.
And I didn't do that. I wrote it stoned and I edited stoned. So I can see it now, you know, because I don't do it no more. I stopped doing that a long time ago. But yeah, now I'm looking at it going, oh yeah, dude, I was fucking on the good one.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, but a lot of people blaze still, and like for me,
yeah,
like,
no, yeah, which is fine.
Back in the day myself, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't mind the smell. I don't mind that at all. But now when it comes to working on my stuff, I don't touch the stuff. I can't do it no more. But yeah, I just have to rework a few pages, and then once I do that, you know, the story will be salvaged, and I'll be able to send that out to, you know, readers and backers. And yeah, I have other few one shots, and I think I'm gonna also focus on primarily short stories as well, short comic book stories, like maybe 8-page, 10-page stories that I'm gonna do with produced with Gambino.
Nice.
And I actually co-wrote a story with Ray Ramos, the writer of the Kryptonals, and it's a pretty damn good story. And I might ask Gambino to draw that one, because I was really proud of that one. How he and I were able to come up with something pretty fucking cool.
That's cool, man. Those all sound exciting. I'm really intrigued too about the Ghetto Dragon. I want to pick that book up. I missed the first campaign, and the second one too, man. I really like the martial arts in comics. You know, I was talking to Mike Barron about that, just showing like the connects and the moves, like contacting. A lot of stuff in comics is a lot of melodrama where you see the dude winding up for the punch and he's just like coming in to swing, and then the dude he hits, the next panel is him flying through the wall, and that's cool and all. But I'm really big into the connect. You know, I like to see all the
same here.
It's and a lot of people just. I noticed that in your book in Vigilant Fury, you already have that, and I was showing that a lot. And I'm really into that, dude. I think it's dope. I love martial arts movies, and me and Brian on the Horror Movie Club, we did this one. I forgot the guy's name. It's an African American dude, but he had a movie. I think his name was Tanzania something. But he's fighting like the subways in New York during the 70s, and it's like a kung fu movie. It's fucking dope, dude.
Wait, what movie is that? That sounds dope.
It's fucking dope, dude. And it's a horror movie, and they're like these, I think these like like the soul sucking demon that's in the subways of New York, and he has to fight. Oh, dude, I'll figure out what movie it is. I'll ask Brian.
Yeah, let me know, because now I want to watch it.
Yeah, and again, it has that charm. And then there's another one too we watched called like The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. It's like a Hammer, Hammer, right? The production company. It's like a Hammer Chinese. I forgot the studio, but it's the one that what's the one that Wu-Tang, like what the rap group Wu-Tang, they like cited that studio, but it was them in conjunction with Hammer. But it was like the Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. That fucking dope, man. Like I love just basically like martial arts, and there's a thing too, just kind of about this like American, like urban, like New York and Los Angeles, like with the street gangs fighting like in the 70s and shit like that. I love that shit, dude. Those kung fu movies, Hong Kong movies, and really excited about that book. Can't wait to check it out, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to get it out and get my name out there and get some more product out there, and pretty much it's going to be a fiercely competitive year for a lot of indie creators, to garner attention for a lot of readers and backers. And I think the time especially now this year, a lot of indie writers specifically are going to have to figure out ways to stand out. There's just so many books out there. I've noticed also not many backers. I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but not many backers ever talk about the books they back. And that's leaving me wondering, like, is it because they read it and they didn't like it and they don't want to insult the person they backed, or is it the fact that they backed so many books that they haven't had a chance to read through it yet?
Yeah,
and
probably a little bit of both.
Sitting there in the stack,
Probably a little bit of both. I've had this conversation a couple times, and hopefully more. We need more YouTube channels of people reviewing books that are in this movement.
Yeah.
That way we can, and it's like you're lucky for someone to talk shit about your book or like it or hate it. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. That's
as
the
creators, we want
thing.
that.
And I think that's another thing too, is the fact that maybe a lot of us are going to have to start developing a little bit of a thick skin too, because again, 100%. You can't win them all, right? You can't win them all, and there might be some people who will be like, yeah, I backed it and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was good, and then that's going to be up to us to say, well, what was it that didn't work for you?
Yeah,
was it the art? Was it the delivery? Was it the overall book? The overall story? Was it my writing? Did it suck? Like what's
we have to do that. You know what I mean? Like
we have to know, or else how we're going to know that we could be on par with, the quote unquote pros,
the old school pros that knew their shit, right?
Yeah,
and we're not putting out the amount of volume that they were fucking doing, and none of us, like 90% of us, don't have the amount of experience that they did.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were just fucking pumping out cool shit. Not all their shit was, but dude, they have way more experience than a lot of us. I'd say half of us too have full-time jobs, right? So for us to level up pretty quick and start putting out a lot of good content, we need to have these reviews, and Absolutely. We need to not get fifis hurt. And if we have to review each other's stuff, and if someone's afraid that someone's going to damage someone's name or whatnot, it is what it is. We have to make these. It has to happen. It's something that has to happen. It's just one of those hard things that has to happen. People need to be able to have a thick skin. We need to be able to review our own books. If someone's just hating on another dude, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's just going to go with the territory. It is what it is.
Yeah. And also you also have to keep in mind also that it's also important to discern between a person who just hates your stuff for the sake of hating it.
You can usually tell, right?
Who can actually give you a little bit of a constructive explanation as to why it didn't work for them. Because I know that a lot of readers are, readers are intelligent people. They're obviously they're not dumb. They actually are. A lot of them are educated, well read.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's always best to, okay, you're just talking shit on me because you just want to talk shit on me, but. Right. This guy over here who broke down, well, it's because on pages 12 to 14, I felt like the panels weren't really working out because the art was off, that kind of stuff. Then it's like, okay, there you go. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you shouldn't take personal. That's the stuff you should actually take in with but the big time pros starting to have a late fulfillment, so to stand out, just complete the book. That's true, dude. You're 100%, Chris.
Like
100%.
for me, like I'm trying to get my book done before I even launch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to do that, but at the same time, it's like I might crowdfund it and need some funds to pay some people to bring on to help me with the book.
Right. Yeah.
I might not want to do it all by myself. I might want to bring on my editor, my proofer, and my letterer.
Absolutely.
Or I might do it. I might, at least I might not do all that, or I might do some of it. So, but I want to have hopefully the whole book done, if not 75% of it done. Because again, it is crowdfunding. So, and then I want to make the book affordable to a certain degree. So,
yeah,
for me, I'm all about backer count, and I want to get the book really affordable, and I want to get in as many fucking eyes as possible. I want people to be talking about my shit. I want people to be liking it or hating it or whatnot. You know what I mean? Because that's what's important, dude. You know what I mean? You don't want to be you don't want your stuff to be forgotten.
Yeah, exactly.
It was all right. That means there wasn't really, someone loves or hates something. That usually means that there was some passion put into it, unless it was just like a quick money grab, I guess, or
right.
I don't know, something that just really just offends somebody. I don't know.
But, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to all your stuff. I'd love for you to come back on the channel.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
About the next stuff you got coming up, coming out, and had a blast. And yeah, man, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me right there on X at a lucid comic 2 underscores, and then you can find me on Instagram. It's the same handle, but the comic is PRD on Instagram. So a lucid PRD with the 2 underscores. And on YouTube, I'm on YouTube, Julius Freeman Comics, where we do a show every Friday with my co-host Kyle.
Oh, nice.
And he has a segment called "Is It Worth the Pickup?" and he reviews books from both the mainstream and also the indie scene, and gives his honest thoughts as to whether or not it's worth picking up or not. So,
that's cool.
I think tomorrow, I think Ben Soto might be the guest tomorrow, because we also open up the show to the writer or the creator of the book to come with us and join us in the live stream, and then Kyle will provide his critique while he's on the show.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
it's a little we're trying it out. See, we're hoping that this opens up the doorway to, I guess, see who's the professional and who isn't the professional.
Right. Oh yeah. 100%.
Who can take the critiques and who can't.
Right. No, yeah. It's you gotta take it where you can,
Yeah. That's
fucking awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out, man. That sounds very entertaining.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll have the live stream tomorrow. The topic was just gonna be about what we expect for 2024 and what we want, what we're looking forward to, that kind of stuff. So it should be a basic show.
Nice. Tune in. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. Thanks for everybody watching and who's gonna watch. And yeah, guys, always remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. I'll see you guys later.
That's right.
Bye-bye.